welcome into another episode of the Radioactive Papercuts podcast. I am your host, Josh Kennedy. Joining me today, as always, for Peacemaker is my friend Noah King Bates. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I can't complain. How about yourself?
Another wonderful day, and just happy to be alive and happy to enjoy Peacemaker. Because that's what we're here to talk about. We're doing a radioactive review on the final two episodes of season 1 of Peacemaker. So we're going to talk the finale. It's going to be hype. First off, though, I think we should just get it out of the way and talk about it later. Season 2 of the Peacemaker was confirmed.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yes, all very excited. James Gunn is attached. I was really hoping that they weren't going to try and capitalize on the popularity and try and handle it without him, because that would just be ill-advised.
Yeah. And I mean, as of right now, from what we saw, the people who were in the show should be coming back, at least the main group.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that dope final battle. But first, we got to get through episode 7, the penultimate. It was okay. It kind of pales in comparison to the finale now, but just overall thoughts on episode 7. Noah, you got anything for me?
Hey, those racists died. So, outside of like the racists dying were truly the top of my
poetic.
thoughts on it. It was
It was wonderful. The frag grenade from our buddy Vigilante and other ways, of course. And it was awesome. I loved it. Some really cool character development stuff. Peacemaker killed his dad.
That was insane. You know what? Because of the show and because of how they were handling it, I figured that's how it was going to play off, but it still threw me for a loop to just see the carnage, well, not the carnage, but the shot in his head and the fact that he did it, like,
yeah.
And then his immediate reaction afterwards. That
was wonderful. Yes. Yeah. Really, pretty good acting on John Cena's part. I've liked him throughout this whole series. I think he's made a step up as an actor. Not that he was ever too bad, but you can tell that he's getting more time in the game. And he was very emotionally conflicted in this episode. And this episode started out with the flashback, with the brother fighting. We finally got to see that they've been building up since the beginning of the series. How did you like the payoff for that story?
I liked it. I mean, I thought they were going to do more showing their relationship, but I mean, even just a little glimpse into what they had as brothers was enough to make you realize, like, this was, like, we already knew it wasn't his fault, just kind of the way that he was viewing it. But to truly see that it was truly his dad pitting them against one another,
like
bare knuckle boxing in the back.
like cockfighting or dog fighting. He's essentially doing that with his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about brother relationships, at least for the most part. It's kind of built in. So the audience, all you have to really say is, that's my brother. And you don't have to see too much for you to kind of buy into that relationship. So I was okay with that. And the fact that his brother had a seizure from getting punched in the nose, it was upsetting, but, made sense, I guess.
Yeah, as an epileptic, like, watching, it's always weird for me to see seizures on, like, screen, because I went through them. I don't go through them as much as an adult, but I went through them. But to watch someone else go through them, that's, like, really jarring. So it's weird, like, watching it. For me, it hit a lot more because I was like, man, I could have went out like that.
Yeah, no, one of my best friends from high school is also epileptic, so there was a couple situations with, if he drinks too much or doesn't get enough sleep, and like, or he's playing a video, like, it can come out of nowhere. It's actually pretty crazy stuff. So
yeah, I was playing an old PlayStation 3 version of Devil May Cry this morning, and there's a part where you're, like, fighting a girl who has, like, electric bats, and it's just flashing on the screen. I was like, how did I get through this as a child? I was getting a headache. I had to put it away. Oh my God. So yeah, the seizures, no joke.
Yeah, the foaming at the mouth made a lot of sense. In that scenario, is it the same as, I mean, I guess we're getting into medical stuff, but since you're epileptic, is it smart to put them on their side at that point? Because that's kind of how you're supposed to handle it if people are throwing up from alcohol, because they don't choke on their own vomit.
Yeah, and it's roughly the same thing. You do want to make sure that they're on their side. and
Dad sucked at that.
yeah, you want to make sure that their head is secure. They're not banging. Put something soft under them, because I know with me there would be a lot of head banging. So something soft, so that way they're not getting any CTE or anything like that. But pretty much once they're done, you just kind of gotta, at least with me, in terms of how everything went, you just have to let him be. But the fact that they just let him on his ground, like let him go through it on his back and stuff like that, that's sadly probably also what did it, is the choking on the foam.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I gathered from watching it. I don't think it was necessarily Caesar. It was because of the foam and such. And yeah, I mean, he's a trailer park racist dad, so it kind of makes sense. He doesn't know how medical practices, but could have saved your kid. Definitely not Peacemaker's fault. Sad scene. John Cena played it emotionally. I appreciated it. Vigilante being awkward, the awkward friend trying to comfort him. was pretty funny. But this
Other than
episode, oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say Vigilante. The more and more we see him interact and stuff like that, it's like I want to know more of his backstory. I really do. I hope they explore other characters' backstories a little bit more in Peacemaker season 2, because I'm intrigued what made him this way. Why is he like so good at killing, but also so emotionally inept? Is he like a serial killer who just went on the road of being a hero? Like there's so much intrigue behind. I mean, the way the actor plays him is phenomenal, but it also lends so many questions to what he thinks the backstory is.
Yeah, very good point. And I mean, we've speculated on it before that they switched actors for this season, even though they had already filmed like 6 episodes, and potentially that could be the reason that they want him to come back later, and the other actor couldn't do it, and they didn't want to
Mm.
recast. So it's all definitely possible. It's speculation at this point, but Vigilante is a great character. Well, I'm invested emotionally in all of these characters. I would say. How about yourself?
Oh yeah, I again, from even the death of Mern,
Yeah.
proved that like this show found a really good way in making characters that we could have easily have killed off really important. And I think James Gunn did a really good job at that, because even Economos, when we get to the season finale, and his huge expelling of like all of his emotions and his beard and stuff like that, like
Yo,
that
for
hit hard.
real. I was like, that was really well done. We're gonna get to that eventually, though. We'll go in depth on it. But as far as this episode's concerned, first things first, Captain Locke, who's the creepy cop, he gets taken over by a butterfly, and the diary is released to Peacemaker. So now he's a wanted man. Just
Mm.
adds another layer to this story. Was it super important? Did he feel like a wanted man throughout? Because to me, it didn't seem like it did a whole lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we never saw him we saw him interact with very few civilians.
Right.
So when his information got leaked, we didn't get to see like people in the streets like pointing at him and being like, "Hey, you're Peacemaker. Like there was," which is funny because in my eyes, if I see a dude hulking around looking like John Cena,
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
can't see him.
automatically assume
That's the
that they're
problem.
like, huh? Oh,
You
that's
can't
it.
see him. That's the
Ah,
problem.
that there it is. It all makes sense now. I was like, why is no one like just pointing out that, like, why is this dude so awkwardly built? But they can't see him. It makes sense now.
His bubble body, as Judo Master put it. I want to talk about Judo Master, and actually, this is a good time for it. One quick note: Harcourt gets pissed at Adebayo because she knows that she planted the diary, and they have a little bit of a spat, and kind of puts that divide between Adebayo and the team. No surprise, they've been building it up all season.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Mern gets killed. Sad, good. It was a well enough done scene. The fact that they got to say goodbye to his butterfly self as opposed to his regular body, it was like, okay, it
I thought
was a
the little
choice.
like touching of the finger to the hand, I was like, okay. Especially because you gotta take into account that Mern, the reason that Mern was different from the rest of them was, feelings. We don't know if that's still 100% like the main reason why, but also the fact of like he finally did connect. He finally did felt like he had like a new family and stuff like that, and to die right after he started showing emotion and after he was honest to at least three of them, and
Yeah,
then he died. Like that's the weird thing, is that like there was never a moment in which Peacemaker learned.
That's true. And yeah, we'll get into like the whole psychological aspect to the butterflies, because we actually learn a bit about Myrn that we didn't know in the final episode, which can actually
Mm.
change your opinion on the character completely. But we're gonna get to that. Judo Master does a random scene where he kicks the crap out of some gas station dudes.
Yeah.
He feels so pointless in this show. I am sticking by that. I think he might be a bigger character in season 2, maybe, but he felt almost completely pointless throughout this first season. He had a couple funny scenes, I'll give him that. But how did you feel about him?
No, I agree. I thought that scene and after he escaped, and then the scene in the season finale, I was legit like, are they just sticking him in here so that way we don't forget who he is? Because I was
Yeah.
really confused on why they were still showing us him. Like I thought, oh, they're showing us because once they get to the cow, Judo Master's gonna show up, and he didn't, and
Nope.
then and
He
then he
shows up
showed up at
late.
the end.
Yeah, it was. That has to be what it was. Is like, okay, well, we have to remind the audience that he's here, because he was not needed in the finale at all. You could have, like, the one mention of him where we convinced him to be on our side. You could have
Mm-hmm.
said that line and then just not mentioned the character again. But I digress. It's still a fantastic show. Just one thing that kind of irked me.
Something that someone posted about that I read into, the fact that his suit covers up his entire body, and the reason he eats hot Cheetos is because they talk about the fact that butterflies don't like spice. So he covers up his entire body and constantly, so that way he wouldn't get taken over by a butterfly. So it was like his butthole was covered up because we learned that's one way. Like all his everything around
All of
him,
his entries. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good
were
point.
covered.
I hadn't even thought of that. I guess he would be a pretty good weapon for the butterflies to take over. And yeah, they don't like spice, flaming hot Cheetos. That's fine. my I don't even know why I'm bringing this up. I had a bowling game when I was like 5 years old that was called the Flaming Hot Cheetos, so we were pretty cool.
When you had a bowling team when you were 5, that is pretty cool. I'm not
You're
even gonna
damn
lie to
right.
you.
I was a nerd, dude. I was a huge bowler, but that's completely unrelated to anything. I just thought it was funny. After they kill the white dragon, all that good stuff, we get the scene in the vet. That was pretty funny. There's just randomly like a doctor, a nurse, and a male nurse. They're like, why did
Yes,
you have to call him a male nurse?
I loved that scene, and then the payoff at the end
Oh,
when I
so funny.
yes,
Yeah, well, we might as well talk about it. So they go through a quick little powwow, and Harcourt's gets put in charge of the team, and
mm-hmm.
good stuff. But then, right when they're about to leave, the freaking vet people armed themselves to join the fight. Like, what just happened?
Yeah, they were so gung ho and like ready to fight. I was like, hell yeah, pop off, Queen, let's go.
Yes,
I
let's
was
go.
ready.
Eagly got his surgery while at the vet, so that's good. He made a recovery. We're all glad,
Yes,
except he's freaking useless in the next episode. But it's neither here nor there. Essentially, this episode ends. They steal a van from the vet, and Adebayo tries to apologize to Chris. He kind of puts her off at the end of this episode, but he does it even funnier in the next episode because we're all children deep down. But that wrapped up this episode. Any final thoughts? Are you ready to get into the bread and butter of it all?
Oh, I'm ready to get into the milk and cookies of it all.
All righty, you bring it in, Noah. Tell us all about the fart jokes. I know you're really dying to talk about them.
So, all right. So we finally get to the head. The team is ready to face off and get to the cow, which is getting ready to be transported to a new location via a teleporter. So the gang has to stop it by any means necessary. So they arm themselves with a bunch of Peacemaker's helmets. They set up a plan where they're going to explode it from far away. Eagly, the only person who can fly,
Yep,
does not allow for that to happen.
sure doesn't.
Screws it up. After that, they find the helmet and they devise a plan to get it inside
Yeah,
using.
we quick note. He saw the ghost of his dad in the forest, which is kind of a preluding to the end of the
Yes.
episode. So that we might as well touch on that. Just it's a quick note. That's all. You can
No,
continue.
you're right. And I mean, person who, when we were first recording, where I was like, yeah, I got a dead racist, kind of, because it plays again more into the finale, the final scene, that final little stinger, the one shot where Chris is just sitting there. But yeah, he's clearly plagued by the death of his father, and that's starting to weigh on him mentally, which is
Which
super
makes
intriguing.
sense because you probably would. I mean, no matter how much you hate your dad, you still committed patricide, so it's kind of a big deal. But
Yeah,
yes, as you said, eagerly he misses the mark and drops it in the woods and extends the problem. And then Adebayo messes up and activates the levitation one.
yep,
So
yep.
there goes that helmet.
Which is so interesting because they had like talked about it for so long, and then the fact that I knew that it was going to be like, oh, it's going to like randomly float away and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the fact that
Yep.
it was just, it's that sensitive
I
that if
loved how
anyone were to say it,
his little fan comment. I don't know why I thought it was so funny. It's like, yeah, I just need a little fan to kind of like guide me. Like, God, I don't have my little fan. And that was a James Gunn line for sure. He would
oh yeah,
do something.
possible. I would also chalk it up to it being just a
John
John
Cena.
Cena.
That's true. He's really good at improv. Actually,
Yeah,
I'll give him props.
he's proven that his ability to come up with stuff on the spot is better than we would have possibly ever given him credit for. So I'm
True
not
that.
so sure that it was just James Gunn.
That's fair. It could have been either or both. Whatever the case may be, it was silly, and I liked it. So we get that plant obviously failed, so they send in Economos, Diebeard. He gets his character highlight going into this thing by himself. Now, did you notice that the stair scene lasted way longer than it needed to? He just like,
Yes.
wouldn't it be funny if we watched this fat guy walk 5 flights of stairs? It's like, you jerk.
We are watching that scene, like everything about him getting ready like to go and do the plant, I thought was like beautifully executed until we got to the long drawn out stairs moment where I was like, all right guys, we get it.
We get
He's
it.
big.
We get it. And then he keep doing it. He might have done it like just a bit too long, like an extra flight. It was probably unnecessary, but yeah, he does do the plant though. He gets it down there like he's supposed to, and he makes his way out back towards his friends, and he's stopped by Betty Cooper's serial killer
Dad. Betty Cooper's dad. Yes. And that the fact that they weren't able to pick up on the fact that he wasn't a butterfly because he started showing so much emotion while talking.
Yeah, fair point.
I thought that was weird, but again, I'm willing to extend my disbelief because the actor did such a good job in watching the others like react to what he was saying.
Yeah, that story made me so sad. He's like, maybe the L'Oreal is worth the extra couple bucks. I'm like, oh man, now
Buddy, no, it's not.
Oh man, he never had a girlfriend, and he thought it made him look younger and more handsome. And I'm like, this is breaking my heart. He's such a sweetie.
Does he need a hug? I want to give him a hug. Let us give him a hug.
Yeah.
That scene was just, it was so beautifully crafted. And again, the most interesting bits about this show is watching Chris see that his actions more than anything have consequences.
Yeah.
Because when he was talking about someone in my team, someone in his team kept pointing it out and making fun of him for it. You see Chris finally take into account my actions, my words. Like, yeah, I thought I was being funny, and yeah, he's kind of a dick, but it hurt for him to hear that he was not a good person.
Yeah, and it's really good because it's just going to help him develop as a character. So the scene was needed. It highlighted Economos, and we were all happy for him. Great stuff. John Cena. Well, they send the sonic boom off, right?
Yes,
that's kind of where we go from here, and it's great.
That dropping of the mic again. I know the extending disbelief, but I was like, really? Her hands got slippery at this exact moment.
Yep. Yeah, that was silly. And yeah, he did. I mean, somehow they figured out. Obviously, he's a human, and then they go in, and that's when the fight starts. Yay!
Woo woo woo.
The final battle. What did you think of it? It was a lot of gory violence. I loved Peacemaker's shield. That thing was money.
That, oh my god, one of my favorite moments was just the fact of like it being in the air, him lowering his gun and shooting it into someone's neck. I thought that
So
was so good for some like it wasn't anything I hadn't possibly seen in possibly anything else, but seeing it, I thought that the fight choreography for this was I was looking and I was like, I do not understand how fight choreography is not listed for award ceremonies. It makes no sense to me the amount of art that it takes to pull off those scenes.
yeah, for real. And it just looked cool. It was a little odd. I mean, I knew that Peacemaker had a shield a bit from the comics, but this is the first time I think we saw it within the parameters of the show, or unless it
Or
was
even the
was it?
movie. It wasn't
Yeah,
in the movie either.
yeah. It wasn't in like his dad's storage locker at any point. I don't remember seeing it, so it kind of came out of nowhere, but it was pretty awesome, so I didn't care.
I'm willing to allow it to happen and again, Vigilante and Hardcore killing it. I mean, all three of them were
So
just going
violent.
to town.
Yeah, Harcourt looked like Black Widow, like through that whole fight. I was like, "This is sick. I'm on board for her so bad, dude. That's so dope."
And then we get to that point where the team starts to falter.
Yep.
And watching like Vigilante, what was he, shot in the back or
Yeah,
stabbed
shot
in the
through
back?
like now he shot through like his left side or something like that.
Yeah, and then before losing consciousness,
Just tosses the knife back. I'm like, "Let's go, Vigilante!" And yeah, and Peacemaker had gone inside at that point, and his long, weird slide scene, and then he gets caught under a bunch of rubble. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's fine. It's
Sure,
fine.
all right.
Show more of the fight scene is what I want to see more of.
Let's
And
go
yeah,
back
like
to the thing I wanted.
yeah, the team starts to lose, and yeah, Vigilante gets taken down, Harcourt gets taken down hard. Like I thought
Oh,
they might have killed her. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
did too. I was like, oh man, I guess so, because in the show I was like full set on like almost no one making it out instead except maybe Chris and Adebayo.
I thought about that for a second. I was like, this is the guy that did Suicide Squad that killed off half the cast at the beginning of the movie.
So I was 100% like, oh yeah, this man getting ready just to make it so no one survives except Chris. I was like, okay, and then he's gonna like work for the butter. Like I was trying to piece in my mind how they were going to play off everything that was getting ready to happen. And I mean, this so with that, and then we see that Adebayo out here having moves.
Yeah, she got guns, dude, and she was doing like sweet flip tricks and stuff. I was like, "What just happened?" And then like, I love how Economos, instead of joining the fight, like he tries to jump over the fence and literally rips his shin in half. I'm like, "Oh my god, no!"
Yeah, I was like, okay, that all right. I guess we're going there. That's the way to do it.
It's
And
kind of
then
smart to do it because he's like the only one not trained to fight at all. We didn't know that Adebayo had that training, but obviously it was highlighted. And I don't think you could. I don't think anyone would have bought Economos joining that fight and surviving. So they had to take him off the page somehow.
but then because if you look where she ran from to where Harcourt was, Economos out here army crawling football
Yo,
fields.
for real, that was like 200 yards easy. He definitely he worked out that day. He did a huge army crawl. I love how Adebayo saved Harcourt from being taken over by a butterfly. That was pretty
Yes,
sick. Just
yeah, that was a
mid
really cool way.
takeover. Yeah. I think that kind of covers what happens above ground. So we can kind of go into the ground now. First off, Adebayo, of course, grabs the human torpedo helmet that we knew was going to be used. Not correctly, apparently. So, yeah. Peacemaker stuck under the thing. Adebayo's looking for him, and who comes out of nowhere but
Goth.
Goff. Thank you. Totally blanked on his name for a second there, but Goff comes through, saves him from the thing. They do a quick fight. John Cena gets tuned up. Good stuff. How did you feel about
I will
that?
say that the change, like they did a really, really, really good job of making you like while Adebayo was looking
Make
for
it seem
Chris.
like Adebayo was the one saving him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was as someone who's constantly like, oh no, like who's super sketched out and just always assuming the worst. I was like legit like, oh snap, she's gonna get him. Like I was on the side of like, oh cool, they got him. And then the fact that it was Goth, I
Nope.
was like, oh, they got me. No.
They got me. The fight, essentially, Chris gets put up in a chokehold, and Adebayo comes through with the human torpedo, activates it, completely misses. It's a rock wall, knocks herself out. We had to do it to him, though.
Oh, yeah.
This is the reveal at this point where, one, it was pretty convenient that you needed 3 people to send the stupid cow on the transporter, but whatever. It's fine. I liked the introspective look at society. I was like, that was an interesting move, James Gunn. You're like, well, everybody, it seems like Earth's on its way to polluting itself into non-existence, the same as their planet. So the bugs are taking over power positions to. This was the best explanation of what the butterflies were doing through the whole show. Finally, we get something concrete. And then it doesn't matter because they're gonna die anyway now.
So. Yeah, that was a really interesting way to hit him with that Uno reverse, like to the point where you're like, okay, like I see why the butterflies are doing this. I still don't like it, but I see it, and then it leads to nothing because they still
because Chris he decides he's like, I don't care, and then he activate human torpedo with Adebayo not ready for it, shoots it into the cow's heart. Very gory, good stuff.
So gross. That cow. If that's
what was gross looking the whole time. We didn't even talk about how they had this giant
naked mole rat mixed with a caterpillar.
Yeah, and that's the cow, and it's milking this gross amber liquid. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely James Gunn. He just did Starro. It's like, is he gonna do a crazy weird monster in everything he does from now on? Because
Economos, that's what got him to leave. He's like, not another kaiju. I can't keep doing this. Like he was so
true. Yeah, loved it.
He was not feeling it. He was like, nope, not again. I'm done with this.
Showed the show has a budget, at least where it counts. Because that thing was pretty, like, it looked as good as Starro did in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they make their way upstairs, and the battle has been won. Congratulations to our heroes. And now they need to take Harcourt to the hospital or wherever they're going to go. Would you like to talk about this scene real quick and what it leads into? Because I'll let you do the reveal.
So, yes, they... So... Adebayo and Chris have definitely patched up the relationship. They bring Harcourt to the hospital, and Adebayo tells him that she is going to say everything. She is going to. Oh, first I gotta get.
I was just gonna say, are you skipping to the Viola Davis cameo? Because there was a funny one.
I want people to want it. I want people to be like, I wanted to pretend like it was nothing. As they are walking away. Who shows up but 2 shadowy figures, Jason Momoa
Sans Batman, and I don't know if we can talk about this at the very end, and we can talk about maybe why Batman might not be there, because we were texting about this at some point. But go ahead and talk about the scene as it actually happened.
The Justice League shows up, sans Batman, with shadowy representations of Wonder Woman and Superman, but we get the actual face cameo and voices of Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Ezra. Full costume, and Ezra Miller's The Flash. So it was great. Jason Momoa got to say fuck, so I'm sure he was super ecstatic about that. Yeah. Ezra Miller playing a very, very smarmy
I like
Barry
him
Allen
doing smart ass Barry Allen, because it hasn't been happening too much, and that's one of the things that people said were missing even from Grant Gustin's TV show. They're like, where's his wit or things? And he doesn't do it as much in that show. So now that they're having Ezra Miller do that within the movie universe, I'm on board for it. But essentially the joke is John Cena gets pissed. He's like,
Aquaman fucks fish.
Go fuck another fish.
I don't do that. Like, I thought you do.
He says, I'm fucking sick of that rumor. Or, yeah, I think that's what he says. I'm fucking sick of that rumor. Flashes. It's not a rumor. Fuck you, Barry. And that's
Fuck you,
that's
man.
our fun Justice League cameo.
Yeah, and I was like thinking about it because we had talked about like, they shadowed out. I thought it was weird that they shadowed out Superman because it almost seems like they're trying to get rid of him, and replace him with Supergirl, which again I have no qualms with. I just kind of am wondering like how and what realm are they going to do that? Because you said Henry Cavill wants to return. Why didn't they have him return?
I
That
know.
seems so weird.
My thought, I was talking to someone else about it. I can't, obviously, I don't know anything. I'm a loser with a couple nerd podcasts. That's what I know. But my guess is he potentially could have been recording The Witcher season 2, or he could have been doing the new Enola Holmes movie, which comes out later this year. So it might have been a
Oh,
scheduling thing, potentially.
okay, and then I'm assuming Gail,
Gal
probably with
Gadot.
the death of the Nile, she just finished
Yeah,
filming
she's
that.
doing some new stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't know her acting schedule lately, but yeah, she could have been busy as well. But to be
I
fair,
also
Jason
figured in the
Momoa is a
fact,
very busy man.
yeah, but I also think that with the fact of the next two DC movies coming out
I think that
being
was the timing.
Aquaman, yeah, being well the ones that involve the Justice League are Aquaman 2 and Flashpoint. I believe that's why they were like, oh, we could already get them, or James Gunn. They were probably already on set or finishing up
Yep,
filming or something like that.
exactly what I said to a buddy of mine. I was like, yeah, I think they literally, because I think that's the costume from Aquaman 2, like the beginning one, and then Ezra's suit looked a little bit newer as well. So I was like, they could have just been on the Warner Brothers lot at the same time. They're like, hey, roll up, let's go. But
Squad deep, let's go.
let's go. Whatever happened, I appreciated the cameo. It made me so happy. It further solidifies the show within the DC universe, which we needed for sure. Because I don't want this to go the route of Agents of Shield. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe it's in, but it's not.
yeah. I'm set because I mean that's more for a Marvel stuff podcast, but I am happy that they are doing a really good job of stitching these together. Marvel waited until Disney Plus to really start stitching, and HBO Max. I like the fact that HBO Max they're more like, hey, we can get gritty on here and then save our movies if we want to be more like PG-13 PG. We can do that, but we want those killing. We want that
Mm-hmm.
stab. We'll
Yep.
put that on HBO Max.
I think that's the angle. I think that's where DC is going to get ahead. Not ahead of Marvel, but I think that's where they're going to get their own fan base. Is they're going to be able to do full rated R stuff because they're going to do it on HBO Max. And releasing a rated R movie is considered risky for the most part because you're automatically excluding a good portion of your audience. So that's why Marvel sticks with PG-13, but I think DC is finding its stride within the rated R franchise stuff.
Oh yeah, and the difference of like making an HBO Max, like the difference with that and Disney Plus is geared toward being a family streaming service. There's
Yep,
almost nothing on HBO Max that I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down my kid and we're gonna watch
1000%.
something on HBO Max.
Yeah. They do have the Batman the animated series and different cartoons and stuff, but they also have Game of Thrones in The
In
Sopranos
Euphoria.
and Euphoria. Yo, for real though, Euphoria is fire. We can talk about this some other time. I love that show.
Right, but like I'm not
Yeah,
sitting down with kids and watching
yeah.
Euphoria.
Nope, probably not. No, definitely a bad idea.
So I
1000
like that they are saving that realm of like they're almost making HBO Max their black label. And I love that. And I want them to do that. I
Yep.
want them to lean hard into it. I want them to pretty much create almost like a black label level, like category for
Yeah.
HBO Max where they do one-off movies, maybe a Deathstroke movie starring Mangello. I know his actual last name. I just like to call him
Manganello,
Mangello.
Mangello. Yeah, he's definitely the opposite of Jello, though. That man's hard as a rock.
Can cut diamonds. But
Yeah,
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 I mean, I would have loved to see Manganiello play Deathstroke, and I think an
yeah.
HBO Max movie or limited series or something like
Mhm.
that would be phenomenal. So
I
I
love
hope
that
HBO
comp.
Max.
I'll say right now, DC Black Label is my favorite thing they do in comic books right now. I love the normal DC stories as well because I read a lot of them, but the Black Label, like one-off stories or Elseworld stuff, but it can be rated R. It's some of my favorite stuff to read. So if they do lean into like Black Label, but have that be their shows or movies, I'm 100% on board because it's gonna be
Oh
awesome.
yeah. I when we talked about our recommendations in the last one, and I accidentally forgot, but I told you to throw it in there. Harleen has been the best DC comic that I have, Elseworld, if we want to call that comic, that I have read to date.
Yep.
I loved it so
It's in
much.
the comments. I didn't add it with
Okay,
audio, but it is within the
right. Yeah,
list,
no.
and it's money moves. I personally, I think I read Harleen. Yeah, I think I read Harleen. I haven't read the criminal sanity one, the crossover between
Mhm.
Joker and Harley. I haven't read that yet, but I'm gonna get to it. Anyway, we might as well talk about the end of the show, and then we can speculate on Batman stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to that ending of Adebayo speaking her truth. She was not lying when she said she was going to explain everything.
And she did, dude. I was like, I made a note on here that this specific event that just happened, this is going to have the most implications for the DC universe as a whole out of anything that's happened in the show. That's how I feel about it. Because now it's almost, I mean, it's not quite to the same degree as Spider-Man losing his secret identity at the end of uh, Far From Home, but it's the same idea, really.
Yeah, and it opens up the fact of like it leads into the fact of this isn't a Justice League pro. Like usually when something is like leads into something for the DC EU so far, it has been purely in the realm of, oh, how does it affect the main five?
Yeah, 100%. And we've talked about this before. DC side characters are like some of their best characters. So you don't have to make everything wrap around the main five. I think that's might be where the Avengers kind of falls off because the Ant-Man movies are nowhere near as popular as the new Thor movie. I mean, people like Ant-Man, right? But he's
Yeah,
not as popular.
no, I 100% agree, and that's sad because Ant-Man is a far more interesting character when you get down to the nitty-gritty of like his life and the way he interacts with his family and stuff like that, and his interaction with the world. Like Ant-Man and like worked at Baskin Robbins in that one scene, and that was super intriguing. But we never got that with like watching them interact with regular humans. And in DC, majority of their people are regular humans. They might have like fancy technology, but they're regular humans. So it's watching two humans interact, one of them doing something that's otherworldly, and it's just super interesting. And I have always liked that about DC, and I've grown more and more accustomed to that being super interesting. It's why people love Batman. Batman is a regular human, although the comics sometimes don't lean into that. But it's a regular
They
human
might have
doing other.
they made him a god that one time. They put him on the god throne or whatever it was called, and I was like, oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
okay, God Batman now. All right.
yeah. So why are we rooting for this man?
Yeah. Overall ending was pretty good. I got a couple other notes. Racist ghost dad. That's something that's going to be developed in season 2, I'm sure. Harcourt and Chris romance finally realized, and I think they're going to be solidifying an actual relationship within the next season.
Oh,
I'm
I
here
agree
for
with
it.
that.
Cool stuff. I mean, I shipped them the whole time. I really wanted them to be together, so it's cool stuff. And we have Viola Davis while Adebayo is doing the whole reveal, and she's like, "What is she?" I don't even remember what she says, but it was funny because she's like, "My fucking daughter" or whatever she says.
Yeah. What I honestly was expecting, and this was like low level expecting, but I would have loved it. I was expecting her to give that press conference and for her to get shot
I
and to
thought
get a
the same thing. I was like, "We're gonna get like a dead shot or like
yeah, a
blood
blood
sport."
sport. Yeah, I thought we were gonna get a dead shot, not even cameo, maybe a voice over the phone to Viola Davis, like her like picking up the phone and then like saying "do it," and then
They could
hearing
have
like
done
we're
very similar to the scene at the beginning of the David Ayer Suicide Squad where Will Smith is like, "You better give me the money before I make this shot," and then he's like, "No, double it for being a dick" or whatever he says.
yeah.
If they could have done a similar scene there, and I mean, that'd be pretty hard to get Will Smith again, but they should.
Yeah, and I mean, in order to, I feel like he would have been willing to. He seems cool with James Gunn, and he
Yeah,
wanted to, do the first movie. And now, because he didn't do the first movie, I think he's still alive. Because some tell me that if he would have done the
second
Suicide
movie,
Squad
but
movie,
yeah,
yeah, doing the Suicide Squad movie, he would have died. So I think
Potentially,
not
yeah.
doing it
Worked out
saved him,
to his
saved his
benefit,
life,
yeah.
his character's life. I really do. So I do hope that leads into something really, really cool for him.
Yeah, I would love to see Will Smith return. He's busy right now. He's producing a Peacock show called Bel Air, and if you guys haven't caught any of that,
So good.
it's so fire. This isn't
So
related to
good.
anything, but it's fantastic. It's definitely one of my favorite shows currently airing episodes. So go check it out.
Yes. Go watch it, please.
All right, that
We're not
ends.
sponsored.
Not sponsored. Though if you guys want to sponsor us,
Hey, Peacock, what's
it
good?
is up. It is up. No, that's kind of the end of the episode as far as I'm concerned. So, do you want to do some Batman speculation? Because he was not there. He was missing.
He wasn't there. And again, I believe it's because we know Ben Affleck is supposedly dying in the Flashpoint, and they probably weren't going to get Michael Keaton because that would have given away any type of part of it. So I think that it's very known that they are now scraping by on what they're going to do with Batman.
Question: why didn't they pull in the Batgirl actress? I just
That
thought of that. That would have been sick.
It would have been sick, but I think they're trying to keep the five together. Although again, no Cyborg. That I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, I think he's just permanently linked to Snyder. He's doing another Snyder show or movie now. That actor, he already signed us all the.
Oh, Ray Fisher, good.
Yeah, Ray Fisher. Yeah, no, I'm excited for him, and I'm glad that he's sticking up for himself. But I really do hope he comes back as Cyborg. We're not getting his movie anymore. That's just not happening. But
yeah, that's not happening. But I mean, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I would have trusted James Gunn, and maybe it's just truly he has a kind of a sick taste of Warner Brothers in his mouth now, so he's probably
I think he's done, but that's okay.
Yeah, which sucks because Cyborg is one of our few.
Yeah, I was saying Snyder's for sure done. Ray Fisher could be convinced maybe, but continue. He's for sure a super important character.
Yeah, he's super important in general. I mean, he was a founding member of the Teen Titans and the New 52, and onwards, he is a founding member of Justice League. But again, as a black superhero, he's kind of important. We don't have any in the DCEU right now.
Right.
At all. He was it. Like, we were supposed to get a black Green Lantern, and we were talking about that. The Green Lantern show's been kicking dust in terms of any type of new talking points. And we don't even know if we're going to get Jon Stewart in that show. I think it's going to be Kyle and Guy.
He's at least not going to be featured. It'd be cool if they gave him a cameo, but yeah. The only reason I think they're going to do something with Jon Stewart, because he was one of my favorite characters in the Justice League animated show. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And the reason they cut the original Snyder Cut ending, which was Green Lantern, is because they had future plans. So I don't think, I know they're making a movie with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right. I would like it because I just started reading more about, because John's always the one he's tied to the Violet Lanterns, which I find, and now he just became an ultraviolet lantern, or in one of the most recent things he became an ultraviolet lantern. So I love John. I want to see John do more and be more. So but I mean, at the same time, Cyborg is a black superhero we don't get very much.
Yeah, 1,000%. We got some ones to look forward to, which is good. And then we had Bloodsport wasn't a hero. We had Deadshot wasn't a hero, but they were at least appreciated within their movies. I'm definitely pumped for the Static Shock movie more than almost anything that they have on their slate.
Oh, I'm very excited for the Static Shock movie. But again, I do agree with you that it's not the end all be all, but at the same time, I mean, Marvel also just lost their biggest black superhero in the fact of, sadly, the passing of Chadwick. So this is a time for I guess we're going to be getting that black-led Superman movie
eventually. That's the annoying thing is they sound like they're going to be doing more inclusion, but they're dragging their heels, dude. It's taking forever. Biracial Batgirl, I mean, that's a step in the right direction.
That is a step in the right direction. But yeah, you're right. Like they're just dragging. And what sucks is we are ready as a fan base. Like I am so ready, whether it's Val Zod or Calvin Ellis. Like I am excited for this new Superman, and that could be another reason why they didn't show it. Although you could clearly tell that that
Dude,
was supposed to be Henry Cavill Superman.
I doubt they're going to do it in the movie franchise because Batman's such a big character. But because of all these multiverse things, like one of the best things in comic books right now is I Am Batman, which is Jace Fox is
Yes,
Batman, and he would that'd be so perfect right now because the best thing is like the thing that would be hard to buy is Black Bruce Wayne is because he's clearly a white privileged character. But Jace Fox being Lucius Fox's son and going through like a struggle and taking on that mantle, like why not, dude? That'd be really sick. And like John Ridley's the writer, and he's fantastic at writing. So give him a show, give it an episode, give him a movie, do something with this character because I'm rooting for him hardcore.
yeah. Again, I think that after this Flashpoint movie and after the Batman becomes its own, like he apparently they stated, or someone I had read about said that the Batman takes place in Earth 2,
Okay, I
not
didn't know
the
it was Earth
Prime
2,
Earth.
but yeah, I think they're doing a whole franchise related to that Batman, but not related to the rest, which is going to get confusing for the audience that watches HBO Max because we're getting a Gotham PD show and the Batgirl show, or excuse me, movie, are both going to be on Max, but they're going to be in different universes. So it's
Yeah,
going to get weird.
I think because I know that the Batgirl one takes place in the DCEU
Yep,
because
because J.K. Simmons is
J.K. Simmons, and then I'm
confirmed.
assuming that the GRPD show, not GR,
That's
the Gotham Police Department, yeah,
GCPD, yeah.
GCPD, GCPD has the not Edgar Wright, Jeffrey Wright,
Jeffrey
um,
Wright, yeah, he's the commissioner in that one. Yeah, and
yes,
that's one of the main distinctions right now because that's a character that's shown up in both franchises. But yeah, and they're making I think a Catwoman show, a Penguin show. Like they're leaning into the success of the Batman, and hopefully it does well. From what I've heard, it's really good. And side note, it's the first or second superhero movie to get the AMC Artesian distinction, which
oh,
essentially means it's artist driven as opposed to being like a blockbuster type of thing. The only other one that's gotten that distinction from them is the Joker with
Joker,
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
okay.
So,
I mean,
cool
I'm
stuff.
excited. I have faith in it.
Yeah, me too. God, I'm so excited for Batman. I've been a Batman fan my entire life, so we're good to get to go catch another movie. I don't care if there's freaking 7 Batman as long as they do it right.
Exactly. That's the realm, and like I feel like hopefully they start to like realize like yeah, the average moviegoer is not a comic book lover, and that we've been getting a lot of money
Isn't
from
that
that.
annoying?
Yeah, because I'm like a part of me like I'm willing to allow a dive in terms of like not quality in terms of like the acting, but the in terms of like how much money gets put into them, as long as they're like telling a story that I want to watch. And I'm willing to watch 7 different Batman. I want a Battle of the Cowl. Like if Ben Affleck is dead, I want a Battle of the Cowl.
Okay, one of
I
the
want
Robins
all
in
the
there. Yeah.
Robins to come out of the woodwork fighting for the
Oh yeah.
mantle.
Yeah, quick side note, another show confirmed. This is making it even more convoluted because it's going to be a CW show, but it did get picked up
Gotham
was Gotham
Knights.
Knights. When there's speculation of which Robin that's going to be, I don't know, but like if it's if it's Dick, Jason, or Tim, they've shown up in the Titans show, so they're gonna do like a third different universe. Like I'm starting to get frustrated a little bit because I just want to know what connects and what doesn't. Just say it. Just all I need is just say it one time, and then we're good.
Yeah, and again, I mean they tried to do that when they like had the little crossover of the not multiverse of madness, the
Infinite
Infinite
Crisis.
Crisis,
Yeah.
where they like did put like little Earths under that. But that was so long ago, not everyone watched it. So I think even if like in the beginning of Gotham Knights, they just Earth 1313 or Earth C167. Like anything,
Something.
just putting it at the bottom. I now know what Earth this is, so I now know what's going to be in the realm of this. And even if they just did that in terms of like regular looking up or at the beginning of their season, establishing which Earth that everything's in, then people could be like, oh, I just want to watch this stuff that's connected to the DCEU. Or it's like, all right, that's Earth 1. That's these. Oh, you want to watch the Batman Earth? It's these. Like,
Yeah.
just
And
give
then
us a
there's
list.
like, you
I'm
want
willing
to
to
go,
just to have a list.
I love how it's still called the Arrowverse, even though Arrow's been off the off the air for 3 or 4
Arrow's
years.
been
But like,
dead forever.
oh god, I love Arrow. But yeah, there's a lot of franchises, so I can they just need to clean it up a little bit. But I'm okay with the multiverse thing as long as there's some sort of established, definition of where this is taking place. Because
No,
then we
I
can
agree.
look forward to cameos, depending on which show or whatever. I think that about wraps it up, my friend. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Peacemaker?
No. I think that I am super excited. I'm intrigued on what, because technically he's still a ward of the state. So I'm very intrigued on what happens next.
True. Yep. And yep, thank you guys for listening in. This was a fun episode. Hope you had a good time. Like, subscribe, rate 5 stars, all of that good stuff. We're gonna hear from Noah again pretty soon. We just did his interview episode was last week, so go check that out. And you're definitely gonna be helping me with Batman. So if we don't hear from you for 2 weeks, then we don't hear from you. But we're gonna hear from you again here shortly.
All right, sounds good. And we got some good stuff coming in terms of ideas that I've pitched to you. So hopefully it won't be too long.
No, I hope not. And Noah, he's an ideas guy. Guys, listen in. We got some really cool stuff coming on the pipeline. So hopefully you're enjoying the show. And once again, thank you and have